Hi guys, Zach here with another Command and Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 4-way free-for-all match. Two of my opponents are Goku and Ronaldo, who I've played with quite a bit in the past. They're both really good quick match players, and the fourth person I haven't played with before, so he's a bit of an unknown. We are on the match Super Bridgehead, and we started in random positions, so I don't know where my opponents are. I've started in sort of the left position, but it's sort of near the bottom, but there could be a player below me. So it's quite near the bottom. And I'm going to need to scout first of all. I'm going to need to scout north, I'm going to need to scout south, and I'm also going to need to scout to the right. So I'm going to need to be going in all directions to find out where the other players are. It's going to be very important early on, and also to try and stop any opponents scouting my own base. And we can also see red. So red's the person who's a bit of an unknown, and I think that building is a bit of a kennel. I think it's a kennel, which is a very, that's a very strange building to build. And I was distracted a little bit, and I think pink's going to get a bit of visibility on my base. That's Goku, so that's unfortunate for me because I want him to have as less visibility as possible. And it looks like he's coming from the north of my position. So that's some vital information I've got so far. I know that red is just to the south of me, very, very close. I also know Goku is to the north of me. And that's a bit of a problem, because what it means is if red and pink could both attack me at the same time, and I'll be fighting a battle on two fronts. So I'm going to want to probably get rid of one of them quite early, and I think it's probably going to be red in this case, because they're the one who's closer to me. I'm going to need to fight them early on. And I think Goku's actually located in the top of the map. It doesn't look like he's just above me, so he's a bit further away, and he'll probably maybe attacked by Ronaldo. It depends where Ronaldo's starting. I haven't seen him so far, so he's probably going to be a little bit further away. Now, when I was looking at red's base, I can think he's built a kennel. Oh, that's Ronaldo there. That looks like a lone scout though. Anyway, what it looks like is Ronaldo's building a dog kennel, which is a very unusual structure. You don't really build that in a normal build orders. The only time you really build a kennel is on the map of Hills Have Eyes, because you need it to kill civilians. So because of that, I've gone for quite an economic strategy to start with. I've built 2 ore trucks, and I've started building light tanks. Now, if the player had been Goku or Ronaldo below me, I would have just built 1 ore truck and then gone straight to light tanks, because I would be expecting a very, very early attack. Because that's sort of what you need to do to that position. In that position, because you're sort of boxed in, you do need to attack the person above you very early on. Oh, and there's another scout there. I've just got rid of that. So I'm going to need to attack him early on, because what I don't want to be in a situation of is the player above me attacks me and then he can attack me at the same time, and then I would be absolutely doomed. So I'm going straight for the attack. It looks like he's got a lot of rocket men. It's quite an unusual unit to build a lot of, and usually people build them to protect against air, but they're not that useful against tanks because it can be squashed quite easily. What this guy needs to focus on would be building a war factory and building tanks. So he's built a few too many infantry at the start, and really on any map, most maps, what you're aiming to do is you're aiming to build. And there's pink, he's got a tank in my base. I think he's just trying to get a bit more scouting done, and let's have a look. Now red's a bit annoyed about the rush, but I can't mess about in this game because Ronaldo and Goku are here. And if I mess around in this game with them playing, I'll be killed very, very easily. And you can see pink was there. That's what I was talking about, being in the middle. One could attack me when the other attacks me, and that's why I needed to get rid of red early on. And you can see now Goku's pulling away. He's thought better of it as he sees how many light tanks I've got at the moment. So that was actually a good call to attack early on.
Unit ready.
Ronaldo in quick match actually has been ranked in the top 20 consistently this season, and Goku last season was ranked in the top 50 at the end. So they are both top quality players. Like not the best, but very, very highly ranked and very, very competitive. Probably both higher than me last season. So now it's a case of just building up my forces. I don't want to be too aggressive here. When you're playing free-for-all matches, you don't want to be, if you're too aggressive, you end up fighting both players, one player, and then you have to fight the other player, and there's not really any way I'm going to win. What I have done now is I've transitioned from, and you can see the Goku's coming again. I think actually what he thought is when I moved those light tanks, I might have moved those light tanks outside his range of view, and he thought I'd left the base, and now he's just brought a few tanks down just to try and destroy a couple of buildings maybe. He's made a little bit of a mistake there, and I've easily cleared those up. What I'm doing now with in terms of tanks is I'm transitioning to medium tanks. I think I like to use medium tanks in battles that have a lot more HP than light tanks. Light tanks do a lot of damage and they're very mobile, but I do think medium tanks do have a lot more HP, they're a bit more sturdy. And I do prefer them to use them in big tank battles compared to their light counterparts. Right, and we can see here's some fighting out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for Ronaldo now, because we can hear them fighting at Goku's base, or where I expect Goku's base is. And what the best thing to do now is attack Ronaldo's base while it's unoccupied. So I'm just having a look to the right, because that's where I saw him last. You can see Pink sending one of his infantry back to his base. I think that's what happened there. So we can see he's not located on the bottom, so I'm going to go to the top. And I'm just trying to find his base as quickly as possible so I can attack him when he's not expecting it. Right, I think we could hear a little bit of fighting maybe. I think it might have stopped right now. But yeah, we're just heading up there, getting a bit of scouting done. And I'm getting my third war factory down. The advantages of having a third war factory, of course, to have increased tank building speed, and you can see right at the moment my ore reserves are pretty high, so I do have the economy to support it. Right, he must be in this position, and we can see him there, so we'll see how quickly he reacts to this. And we're going to get that ore refinery down definitely, so we're going to do a little bit of damage there. And now we'll go for power plants. Right, and we can now see he's recognised it, so he's building light tanks. I'm just going to do as much damage as possible. So we're going to get his MCV, and that's a big kill. That is a very big kill. If he doesn't have a service depot, that means he can't replace any of the buildings he loses. So we'll have to see when we destroy a bit more of his base, if he doesn't have, in fact, a service depot. We've got one war factory down, and we've got another war factory down, it looks like. Yes, and I think he'll only probably have one more war factory because you only have 3, and you can see he's got an absolutely huge mass of light tanks. And with the tank numbers, we should be able to get this down. Right, it's on yellow. Now it's on red, and it should be. And actually, it looks like he might actually be able to save it. And that was close. And you can see it's sort of located in quite a good spot because it's been very hard for my tanks to get to it. If it had been a more open map, my tanks would have been able to destroy that war factory, but because it was quite in a close position, because of the tracking in this game, and we can see that Pink have took this opportunity to attack me. I think what they've seen is I've been attacking Cyan, Ronaldo, and they decided to come and attack me now because of course my forces will be a little bit weaker. But it does look like I have the superior tank numbers here, and I should be fine. So it was a good try, but I had been building with 3 war factories at this point, so I have got quite a lot of tanks in reserve. And you can see Cyan's going to be a bit of a danger because he does have a really large number of tanks at the moment. And I do expect after the last attack, Ronaldo will probably be coming for me. So what I'm going to do is he's coming from the top, which is quite good actually. What I wouldn't, because this base is quite easy to defend if you get an attack from the top, because there's only 2 entrances through bottlenecks and the bridge, of course, which I don't think is coming through. They're going for the service depot. I don't really mind about that. It's not really a big issue at the moment. And here comes Ronaldo. So with his light tanks, of course, they have quite low HP, which is quite good. Now, what we're saying about this base location is there's only 2 very narrow entrances to the bases. So you've got basically 2 bottlenecks, and bottlenecks are a lot easier to defend against than open spaces. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bunch tanks up in front of both the bottlenecks, and that's going to make it very, very hard for Ronaldo to pass through, because he's going to get, when you pass through a bottleneck, you don't, because you're passing 1 tank at a time, it's very, very hard. You lose a lot of tanks doing this. And I think Ronaldo's realised that that's not a good idea, and he's going back up north. And I'm just taking some tanks to the bridge as well. I don't want him to go across there. What Ronaldo should have done is he should have gone to the south of the map, there, and then attacked me from the right, and that would have made it a lot more difficult. So I think what he's doing right now is he's going to possibly attack Goku and get rid of him, and then possibly focus on me. So I'm just going to follow him because I want to destroy a lot of those light tanks, as many as possible. And if he's focused on Goku, he might be luring me out, but it's a bit of fun. It's a free-for-all match. and he's gonna get trapped in the middle here, I think. Now, even though he's got good tank numbers, we have to remember a lot of these tanks have already been damaged. You can see there's a lot of reds and yellows in there, and whereas my tanks are fully on green, so he's losing a lot of these tanks very, very easily, and you can see his numbers are dropping quickly, and this is looking very, very good for me. Since I destroyed a couple of his war factories, he's going to be producing these tanks very slowly compared to what he was before, and it looks like Goku's joining in the fight, so we've got a three-way fight between 3 different teams. And yeah, it looks very good for me. I think Goku's helping Ronaldo at the moment because, of course, I've got the upper hand on both of them at the moment. And I'll just clear up these tanks from Goku. I should really be going for the Ronaldo tanks first because I like tanks and they're easy to destroy. And I'm looking in a very, very good position at the moment. I was very lucky to be where I started. I had the team below me, but that was quite easily dealt with early on. And it looks like... Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Goku first because I've already destroyed Ronaldo's construction yard, so I don't really have to worry about him building any more war factories, and he's going to be struggling with your refineries because he doesn't have that way. I destroyed one of the your refineries on the other side of his base, so it's going to be very, very difficult for him, and it's looking like it's just going to be a clear up now. So as I say, I was very lucky in my starting position. Goku and Ronaldo started very close to each other, and I took the opportunity to attack Ronaldo just after he'd attacked Goku, and that's what you want to be doing if you're playing a free-for-all match. If you know a person's left their base, that's the best time to attack them if you're trying to win. And we can see Goku's built a bit up here as well. I don't think he has a construction yard. I think Ronaldo might have destroyed that at the start. So he's been fighting without a construction yard as well. And Goku's out of the game, and now it's just finishing off Ronaldo. As we can see, he's still trying, but he's selling up now. Right, so that's a game. So that's a free-for-all match between 3 top 100 players and another player unknown. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.